Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Zone to Speak podcast. I'm your host, Juliana. Hey, everyone. Before we dive in, a quick shout out to the amazing brands that I use and love. And the best part is when you shop with them, you are directly supporting this podcast so I can keep going. Here's the lineup. Cyc Plus, smart pumps for the perfect tire pressure. Down the road, cycling apparel that looks good and performs. New Zest, clean, plant-based protein and nutrition. Oleos, wellness shots with adaptogens and neurotropics for energy, focus, and recovery. Code Age, high-quality supplements like multivitamins, creatine, and collagen. Loop earplugs for travel, sleep, recovery, and noise control. Clearly Not Coffee, a smooth, caffeine-free energy alternative. Heal, quick, plant-based meals for busy or bikepacking days. Shocks, open-ear headphones that keep you safe while training. Frey skincare designed for active people and sweaty rides. All the links, discounts, and codes are in the episode description, so check them out, grab some great deals, and know you're helping keep Zone to Speak rolling. Now, let's get into the episode. All right, today on Zone to Speak, this one is a little different because this isn't really about racing. It's about getting lost in the mountains on purpose. My guest is Raphael Albrecht, the mind behind Sneak Peaks, a route that cuts through the Dolomites and into Slovenia, where the roads disappear, the climbs don't make sense, and at some point you are probably pushing your bike, wondering why you signed up in the first place. There are no prizes, no podium, no finish line pressure. Just long days, big mountains, and the kind of experience that hits a little deeper than numbers. Sneak Peaks feels like a quiet rebellion against what cycling has become. Less about proving something, more about feeling something. So today we are talking about where the idea came from, what happens when you remove competition from endurance, and why some of the hardest rides end up being the most meaningful ones. Let's get into it. Welcome to the pod, Rapha.
Wow, that was a nice introduction. Thank you.
I hope I made justice to Sneak Peaks and your beautiful creation.
Yes, we are not going through Slovenia this year. This is 2024, okay. But everything else was perfect.
Good. Very happy. If anyone doesn't know, I'm also going to be part of Sneak Peaks this year, so I'm super excited to be on the Party Pace Patrol crew. Tell us a little bit about how was it creating Sneak Peaks? What brought this idea to you? Were you reacting to something like the competition, the structure, the rules, and creating a new culture for ultra cycling?
Yeah, kind of. Started with cycling in 2018 and then did my first ultra events in 2019 already. One of the big ones in Kyrgyzstan, and then many other races followed. And I was really into the community, into the scene in the beginning, and I did it for 2, 3, 4 years. And I felt like I'm getting a bit tired of pushing through day and night again and again. And also, I don't know, it was more adventurous when I started. In the last couple of years were more like racing, and I don't know, I kind of lost my motivation somewhere between this time. But I always wanted to do my own event. I started with Orbit 360 in 2020, and I always felt like, hey, the community is so nice, the people are so nice, and I missed it when I stopped doing the races by my own. I mean, still the people, they did it, and I was like off. I didn't see them anymore. So yeah, I came up with the idea of Sneak Peaks to bring like a very challenging event to Europe without the necessity to like make it the the hardest race in the world. You like, all the terms, all the marketing terms. We are the hardest people and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I choose the Dolomites, because it's, no one has to fly from Europe. Most people riding these events are from Europe. So no one has to fly there. And not many events were in the Dolomites. So it's a nice backdrop for a proper challenge. And yeah, then I went there, I scouted the route, and I found all these refugees, like the little mountain huts on top of the mountains. And I thought, hey, it would be very nice to include them as checkpoints, whatever. Do something with them. Don't only go there and do your event and then leave leave the people as well. And yeah, with this idea, the route became very challenging. So without the need to say we are the hardest people in the world, it's actually quite a challenging route anyway. That was the idea to start with sneak peeks, and it's the first edition was in 2024, and we're going into the third edition this year, where you will be joining as well.
Yeah, I think to get to those refuges, they are quite high up, right?
Yes, 100% yes.
I did see, maybe I'm mistaken or daydreaming, that you posted something about less hike bikes, or maybe not even having hike bikes. Is that right for this edition? You taking it easy on us?
No, it's there will always be.
Or is it April Fool?
And it's the last years I realized I wanted to make, it's like there are three distances: Entree, Classic, and one Adventure, and it's 500k, 800, and 1100. And I wanted to be more inclusive for the people, because the whole spirit around sneak peeks is community driven, but then I'm coming up with a very difficult route that it's not for everyone. So I try to find a good balance, still keeping the adventure, like the proper adventure, and that's the adventure distance, and then make it more accessible for entree riders who want to like get the vibes of sneak peeks, but don't want to push too. I mean, it's still pushing hard, but sometimes you get tired if you have to push your bike for a couple of hours. And I understand that. Like, I wouldn't do this if the refugees won't be up there. But it does make sense because it brings you to places where you wouldn't go. And it's quite challenging, the scouting, I have to say, because it's like the Dolomites, there's still many touristic places. And to avoid these places, you have to go into the mountains. And it's very nice there, but it's also very challenging.
Yeah, I bet. I love the community feeling. Like you, I used to be very competitive. I come from triathlon. So when I came to ultra cycling, I still had that obnoxious triathlon mentality. And it started to change because ultra cycling is really tough. And you just, it's really hard to compete at a certain level and keep up with that. And I just wanted to do bike packing. But then I also wanted to still go to races because I miss the community. I want to go and have a route, not have to think, and meet people that are looking for adventure as well. That's so much fun. So I'm so happy you have this format that it's community driven. Do you think that's why people still show up? Because some of the usual incentives are stripped out, right? There is no prize, there is no podium. A lot of people are looking for external validation, right?
Yeah, I think there are two groups. Like the one group is, no matter how fast or slow they are, they set their own goal and they want to smash it. So it's still like many people going for their best personal time. And I was the same. Like I wasn't able to go for a win. Like I was too slow, way too slow. But it's what I realized for 90% of the riders of all of the events, they're not going for the win. So why should you push again and again? And it's on a long-term view, it's not healthy for your body as well. Like, and also mentally, I got tired. I got super tired. I aged 10 years on those 10 events. And,
Yeah.
and even I'm not calling it a race, but some people do. And you have to go very hard and you have to push a lot. So it's not like, so I don't want to get the impression that it's a Sunday ride. It's a super, super tough and challenging event. But also I want to bring people together. And I remember I think it was 23 when TCR, for example, they disqualified people because they were riding together for 30 minutes. And then it became like, okay, I don't know what is allowed and what is not allowed. All of the event organizers, they all promote it as we are the nicest community. But then if you want to ride together for like 1 hour, then you get disqualified, and it's very difficult to find a good balance. And for me, I don't need to find a good balance because we actually encourage people to ride together, because I met like very nice and important people to me in the races because I spent some time with them. And this is more meaningful than, I don't know, 5 hours faster that you forget in 1 year anyway. I can't remember my finish times. Yeah.
Totally. I couldn't agree more. And I think a lot of there are a lot of people that love those events, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I agree. For me, it's the community and meeting people. Even if I'm racing, it's just, everybody knows in ultra cycling that you're riding the route and then you see bikes at a cafe, you're going to stop there. You are so hungry to talk about the experience and have people that understand what you're going through as well, and talk about maybe what's ahead, and be disqualified because of that. Also knowing all these tiny rules. I remember I was in total shock when Justina Slevejka was disqualified from Colorado Trail. Is that what it's called? Because he did what usually it's the rule on every race. He had a major gear issue with his wheel. I think he broke. And then he walked until a road, got a ride, went to a mechanic, and then rode back to where he had the accident or whatever happened, continued the race, and was disqualified because he got on that ride. That would not be a penalty in most races, but he got disqualified there. To me, he's still the winner and the king. But yeah, it gets a little crazy, with like so many tiny little rules, and you need to know, it's already so much too, to like have your gear all working, have your nutrition, having everything you need, your navigation, knowing where you're going to sleep, where you're going to stop, and then remembering different rules. It's very overwhelming. And most people are there for the community, and being penalized for helping a fellow cyclist, or being penalized because you rode together. And, I do pairs a lot. And believe me, I don't remember us actually drafting at all, because most ultras are so tough. You're either going up or down. There's not much flat. And also, it's hard to be together all the time. Even though we are a pair, a lot of times we have different speeds, it's just like, I'll see you in a bit, or whatever. You talked about the three distances. On the hard distance, at some point, of course, the romance stops. And then the rider is tired, pushing a bike up something. Do you want riders to hit that breaking point?
It's coming
You're
all
smiling.
the time. But even if you do a road race, if you want to like push, and then it comes from your inside. You can also push on a road race very hard and go deep.
Yeah.
I don't want it. It's coming anyway, because I'm the one who's doing the scouting, and the scouting is like 3-4 times more than the actual distance. So I know how it feels like going up and down. And then also, I mean, for me, it's going up and down, and then you don't even know if it's the right the right route, and then you go back, do it again. I just want to bring people to very nice places, and then it's a different mindset. If you go there and you feel very alone sometimes, I mean, it can be a good sign as well, feeling, I mean, not being alone, not feeling alone, maybe. I mean, some of the writers from the last years, they came to me, especially in the first, and I said it was actually a bit too much. And then last year I did some adjustments, and last year they came back to me as like, hey, it's super tough, but it's worth it. And that's the best. I mean, if you know,
That's good. Yeah.
This is, I have in the writer handbook, I have one section where I explain my scouting approach, and it's 7 points, and it starts from safety, from including the refugees, and it goes all the way down like a priority list. So because I wanted to let the writers know there is a reason why they are walking up there now. Either sometimes there's not a way, sometimes they're going to see it in 2 hours why they get there, because they get to a very nice valley behind it. So I'm trying to be very transparent, because I know in the events I did, if you are in this hike a bike and you question yourself, and then you question the event organizers, like, hey, why are we here? This doesn't make any sense. But I promise all of the writers,
everything will make sense.
Yeah, in the bigger pictures, maybe not in this moment, but in the bigger picture. I'm spending 2-3 months in the Dolomite. I know all of the mountains, and it does make sense. Yeah, but of course, if you know that, I mean, that's the other side. Some people, they see the photos on Instagram, and it's like, hey, this looks nice, I want to go there. But then sometimes people forget that it's not easy to go there. They forget how hard it is to get to these places, and that there is no lift or whatever. So this is the other side of the story, but this is the writer's responsibility as well.
Yeah, I love that. You let the writers and the community into your thought process, that everything makes sense and there is a reason for everything. I think that's so important, because, that's why I asked the question, because some race organizers just like to make deliberately hard for the sake of it, and it's good to know that having this clarity to your process, it creates so much trust. And you know that there is probably a reward at the end of this brutal climb or this 2 hours hike a bike. There's going to be, this amazing refuge or this amazing view, a coffee shop. There's something around the corner. We don't know, but it's good to trust.
There won't be a coffee shop, but there will be something. There will definitely, there's no coffee shop, but the refugees, they have coffee.
Good.
Yeah.
So there's something about big mountains, right? That they strip things out of us. Ego, noise, distraction, all kind of things fall away. What do you think the mountains reveal about people that normal life doesn't?
Yeah. The ego is a nice thought. I never thought about this, but yeah, I mean, that's what everyone says. You feel very small, but sometimes you just say it but then you have to feel it, I mean, just going there, spending time with yourself, having a lot of time with yourself or with another person, either with a person, it bonds you with yourself, it brings you to another mindset. And I don't know, it's very difficult to find words. I think all of us kind of know it. It's, for me, also the Dolomites, they're quite special mountains, I have to say. They are steep, That's something I didn't know before I went there. Not that steep. And they are relentless. That's I mean, there are many, many times you want to scratch, but then it's just too beautiful, actually. And then, I mean, the refugees, you see them on most of the times, you see them like you see the peak of the mountain, and then like you can't even see the road actually or the path, but then okay, the refugee is up there, so this is where I have to go. And it's a nice, so you see the goal where you have to go. That's quite nice, actually.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, that's good. The goal is right there.
Yeah.
I think that helps.
Way.
Yeah, right there, but not really. Yeah. And ultracycling is usually about solitude, but sneak peeks seems to blur that. People can ride together, share moments, connect in a way that's not always present in racing. Do you think people are actually craving connection more than competition right now?
For all the people that register for sneak peeks, yes. I think in general, people are still like that. They're still liking the competition. I think many. Yeah. Which is why we are still quite a small community. But I'm always like at the registration, we've got many, many young people. Like most of the bikepacking events, you don't see many young people.
Yeah.
And we are like, we have a very diverse riders field, what I really love, because I'm quite tired of seeing the same people again. And then I'm not talking again person about the same kind of people, all very stylish and for the sneak peekers, they come with different bikes. Some of them they finished with a very old-fashioned bike. That's very good to see. Yeah, it brings a new I don't know, new perspectives to all of the riders.
Yeah, it's always so much fun to see a funky bike, like a cargo bike, or some people come with like a single speed. It's really, really crazy and fun. It's good to have this option to still go to events and have the same feel and not having to compete. How do you protect the spirit of sneak peeks as this gets bigger and bigger?
We focus on all riders and especially on the party pace petrol. Maybe I should say something.
Let's talk about party pace petrol. Yeah.
Party pace petrol. So what I missed in other events was they always say it's about community, but in the end they focus on the top 5 riders and that's it. And it's like from the outside, that's the only thing you can see if you follow the races. And for me, it was important not only talking about community, because I mean, community has become a big word for brands and it's actually like kind of a money word somehow. And that's okay. We want to have like a proper community. We need something to be more inclusive to new riders. And then I came up with the idea of the party pace petrol. And I thought about when you do a marathon and you have I was doing a marathon.
The pacers, yeah.
And then you've got how do you call it?
The pacers.
The pacers. And they are holding something, then you have a time on it. So you stick to them and hey, if I stick to this person, this is I don't know, I have a 4-hour goal, whatever, and then they make it. So I thought, hey, this could be a very nice idea for sneak peeks, but of course, in a multi-day bikepacking event, you have to just it's not that you're holding a balloon and you have the time on it. But I thought, hey, we want to give a bit more security riders who are afraid of riding alone as well as sleeping alone. I think the Dolomites are they're quite safe, but still sleeping alone can always be frightening. So I started to ask people who are very experienced, who I know, hey, if they there's a high possibility that they finish and who don't want to race anymore, not like push too hard. And that's how we came up with the party pace petrol. So the idea is that we set the goal for, I think you're doing the 5 days entree.
I think so.
Yeah.
5 or 6.
5 or 6. Yeah, I don't know. We have to check the details. But then Lottie is another rider. She's doing the 4 or 5 days then. And just to bring new riders in who are afraid of being alone. And then they don't have to stick to you. And you are not their private mechanic or whatever. So you're doing your ride and they do the ride. But if they feel alone, if they need someone to talk, they always know where you are. They always have, I think that's the most important point, they always know the sleeping spots. So that's my work. I'm looking for the sleeping spots and their daily averages. So if they ride through the day alone, but then they're like it's 6 p.m. and it gets cold or even rain, and it's like I don't want to be alone. And if they know in 20K there's a nice place where they know there's a shelter, they can sleep there, they find some people there, then it gives a lot of security. And that was the idea. So this is how I try to keep the spirit. I focus on the party pace petrol, even the media team, like they are not, I don't want to say I don't care about the first 3 positions. I really admire what they push through and the times, and it's crazy, but we are definitely not focusing on them. We are trying to catch them if we can, but the focus is on the party pace petrol, not only the party pace petrol, like the middle, the last riders, everyone. Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, this event is everything that I dreamed of. Everything. I mean, I dreamed of the Dolomites. I dreamed of the community. And it's actually better than my dream because you also have the party pace patrol. I mean, this is so important. I have scratched from a race because I felt really scared. So I stopped. And then I didn't want to start before sunrise, and I was up and I couldn't leave. And then finally sunrise came, and then I was trying to like calculate hours in my mind. And a lot of people passed me, right? Because I cut it short that day. And then I'm like, I have nobody around me. There were still some people behind, but like way behind. Anyways, I scratched because there was nobody around. So having this party pace patrol is amazing because then, okay, I'm alone. I'm scared. Where is Lottie? Where is the next sleeping spot? This is magic. Thanks for creating this. Really, really amazing.
Pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for taking part and doing it.
Honored, really honored. In most races, the finish line is everything. And here it's almost secondary, right? It's not about finishing. I know we talked a lot about community. What is actually about? It is the community. Yeah. Rapha is nodding. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. And also like when you're talking about the middle of the pack, the back of the pack, the last person finishing, sometimes I'm following races and I'm like, I mean, I also admire, obviously, these people that have these crazy strategies, barely sleep, are so efficient, finishing 2-3 days, 50 hours, crazy numbers. But I also want to know the back of the pack, the middle of the pack. I mean, there's so many good stories also. I remember, not going to name names, but there was this one race here in Spain. It was an ultra. And this guy was the last guy, but he was taking very long, right? The cutoff times had already ended, but the organizer didn't want to leave him out there. So they called him and said, hey, I mean, when do you think you're going to finish? We're waiting, And he's just like, I'm on vacation. I'm not in a hurry. And I love that. Like my hero. Yeah. Why rush? I mean, rush if you want to. Everything is welcome, right? But I think there's so many cool, funny stories all around the race.
This is actually Marcus who was the last rider in the first year, the last adventure rider.
Mm-hmm,
He
mm-hmm.
was like very tall guy and heavy bike. He was riding with panniers. Yeah, he had big panniers. And then there was a lot of snow in Slovenia. Like I actually had to change the route because some section would have become dangerous, and I changed the route. And then he sent me photos from Slovenia because it's for sneak peeks the same. I'm waiting. There is no cutoff, and I'm waiting for the last person who crosses the finish line. And that meant I was texting him, was like, hey Marcus, just take your time. Like I'm in Bolzano, I'm gonna wait here. And then he sent me photos from Slovenia, and there was 50 centimeters of snow, and he couldn't continue. Like he was stuck in the refugee, and I was like, hey, I don't know, when snow is gone, I need to find a place where I can buy a new jacket. I need stuff. And he was on holiday, and he's like, hey, I don't care if this takes 7 days or it took 60 days in the end. But he finished.
Wow.
Yeah, he finished. And he came back last year, and he's like, hey, I finished in the first year, and this was like the biggest adventure ever. And then last year he wanted to just shape some days off. And I think last year he finished in 12 or 13 days. And
That's really good.
Yeah, so we had these people, and I also like there are some I liked when I did some mistakes in my races when I started with it, and like the stories, they come from mistakes, like not bad mistakes, not dangerous mistakes, but
course.
Then 3 or 4 years, I was like, I feel like I played this game, and now I can only make it better and better and faster and save 5 minutes here and 10 minutes there. But actually, the fun part of it, if you make some mistakes and then have to deal with it.
Yeah. You know, it creates memories, stories to tell. You know, it's just like when something inconvenient is happening, I think we always have to think, you know what, this is going to be a good story someday. Deal with your problem, stay chill. You know, of course, you're not going to be happy you're encountering problems, but they do happen, you know, especially when you're doing a lot of kilometers. Something is bound to happen eventually. You know, some people are lucky, nothing happens, but and when it happens, I think, you know, you are prepared, you got time, especially at sneak peeks. It's not a race. It's all good. Why? Go ahead.
That's maybe important to say. People should bring some extra time. Everyone who listens to it and maybe want to do it one day, because that's what I realized in the last 2 years. Some people, they see like the entree 500K and it's like, yeah, okay, I'm like 2 days, 3 days should be fine. But it's going to be longer, and sometimes they forget the climbing. And then if you feel the pressure and you know you need to go back to work and take a train, it's not a nice feeling. So maybe 1 or 2 extra days is always helpful.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because that's something also I told myself. I really would like not to scratch anymore. I mean, of course it can happen, but I want to have more time, because when you were talking about this, forgot his name, the guy that finished in 15 days, they came back and finished in 12 days. I want that, you know, like if I cannot finish in the allowed time, I want to at least do the route for the beauty, for the trip, for the adventure. So if it takes me more than 5 days, if it takes me 7, maybe 10 days, you know, of course, sometimes you can't because of work, or family or other commitments, but if possible, I would love to have the time. And you're absolutely right. Anyone listening, try to plan extra time instead of shorter time, because if you finish shorter, great. But if you don't, you have the days there.
Yeah. And if you finish shorter, and if you're back at the finish line a bit earlier, we have free camping on the at the location, and the location is actually like a mini golf place, and we can hang out there I don't know. It's like they have pizza, they have food, they have drinks, we have showers, we have toilets. So everyone sticks together. No one is taking a hotel. I mean, some of the people do. Of course, there are always some people, but most of the people, they stay there. They have food. They sit there. They relax. Sometimes they play a bit of mini golf. The team on the event location is very nice. So it's actually, this is very helpful to like have a place where we can all be there and don't have to pay a lot of money or something for sleeping or stuff.
Wow, that's amazing. That's really cool. Very cool, because then it's just continuation of the adventure and hanging out with people. They were part of the race. Very cool. Anything I missed that you would like to share?
I think we got everything. Yeah.
Can people still sign up?
Yeah.
Is there still time?
I think I'm gonna close registration 1 month before. So it's still quite some time. But then maybe we have 100% refund policies because many people are asking, hey, when do you close? This is I'm working together. Like I also have a festival and the ticketing provider, they're coming from the festival side and they want to be more inclusive for younger people. It's like it's very difficult for younger people to make any decisions, to plan ahead. So they was like, hey, we're gonna have an insurance now, so we all pay into the insurance, and then it brings the option that people can register, and if they don't, like if they have any injury, for example, this happened quite a lot, they can just cancel until 8 days before the event. But 8 days before the event, if you do like an event like
you should.
Event, and then you get your money back. This is quite helpful, maybe. Yeah.
Very helpful and unheard of. So this is really good information. Okay. Head to the episode description. All the information how to register is there. And Rapha, thank you so much for bringing us into your world and for coming to Zone to speak. I can't wait to get to sneak peeks and see everything that you created.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the invitation, and then looking forward to meet you in person in August.
Me too. And that's all for today's episode. I want to thank the listeners for tuning in. Your support means everything. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider following, leaving a review, and sharing it with your friends.